So now I'm going to talk about different paradigms of machine learning. Okay, so what we've just talked about is the supervised paradigm. Okay, and there's 3 different types, and we are going to allude to these a little bit more through this lecture. Supervision means basically that there is a corresponding answer, a y value for each input instance, right? So here we have images, right? A cat and a dog, and these are actually pictures, so they're actually arrays, right? They're arrays of rows. Each row has elements called pixels. Each pixel has color elements, RGB, and so basically everything here is just a bunch of numbers, okay? There's a really funny TED Talk about this, about spreadsheets. I'll put that up later. You can look at that if you're interested, okay? But in any case, basically, when we have supervision means we have X values, and for each X value, we have a Y value, okay? So as it says here, for the bulk of our course, we're going to be talking about that all the way until around week 9 or 10. Okay, so we have to go back to coursemology. All right, here we are, and give a short description of a problem that would fit supervised machine learning. Okay, so maybe I would put something like, is NTU a good school? Sorry, NUS a good school or not? Okay, and then I have to describe what's the input. So X would be, students' responses to student feedback. Okay, and then Y values would be, I don't know, yeah, whether they liked it or not, the course rating, etc. like that, okay? So again, this is a free text value, so you won't get anything back except answers submitted. When the TAs go over that, hopefully you'll get back comments, okay? So when people talk about deep learning, mostly they're referring to this idea of supervised learning, because there have been lots of advances about how to come up with what's in an X, okay? All of the different pieces of data that help to make a decision. Okay, so we're going to cover these later on. But I thought, let's actually try to do some deep learning. Okay, so we're actually going to do this. So in Collab, you can actually run these notebooks. So we're going to go here. All right, and just try it out. So in Collab, all you have to do is click a cell, and you can hit this, or in Windows, I guess you can press Control Enter, okay? So it'll connect to a notebook, okay? A server in Jurong, I think, because that's where our local data center is for Google. And then hopefully, if my connection is any good, we'll get this imported. Okay, so it's come out with some examples. It says this data set has 1,700 examples, almost 800. And the first image looks a little bit like this. So this is a bunch of numbers, right? So it's actually an array of digits. There's 64 digits, so it's actually a table. Let me see what I can annotate. Let's see, okay? A table like this, okay, where there's 8 columns and 8 rows, okay? And each one of these cells is a gray value, okay? And that's what this mess of stuff down here means, okay? So let's get rid of that, okay? Yeah, go point again. All right. So that's all what I said here, okay? So what we want to do is say, let's try to split the data, okay, so that we can learn a model. And by learning a model, it means trying to induce some patterns, okay, a decision a function, to decide whether to think of that as a particular number or not, okay? So I'm going to run this cell. That's all I need to do. Okay, basically, if you read the code, it says there's a number of samples, okay? And for this number of samples, I'm going to set aside 90% of it, both the data values, all of those 64 digits, and the answers to these 64 digits, okay? 64 array, okay, of gray values. And I'm going to put it in what we call the training data set. So basically, we can think of it a little bit like this. Okay, I've got a data set. Oops, come on. A data set, and I'm just cutting off this part for training, and I'm going to save this part for testing, okay? So that's the idea. That's what these other lines do down here, right? That's this part here, right? So this part is for the training part. Okay. And okay. We are actually going to do the machine learning. So we're going to do that. Okay, actually, we run machine learning. Are you happy? We did machine learning. Okay, class dismissed. Let's go home. All right, I'm just kidding. All right, so what we have to do is actually understand what's going on. We're not going to do that today, but to let you know from a practitioner's point of view, this is really simple, right? You just have a data matrix, you run some code, and you're done, okay? Because what it did was run some algorithm that we're going to learn in 2 weeks' time called k-nearest neighbors and try to classify it. Okay, so when you watch Pedro Dominguez lecture, you can think about what type of algorithm was it, okay? So I'm gonna paste my KNN score, okay? I'm gonna just go do that, okay? Into the programming exercise, okay? So it's here, I continue, okay? Let me just write the number, okay? Save as draft, okay, submit. Did I get it? Okay. All right, I can press buttons. It says I'm a machine learning engineer already. Good job, me. Okay, so that was the supervised problem, okay? Now for unsupervised, it's a little